Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your valuable time with the Adapt 2030 channel as Cuba makes requests for food aid from the World Food Program. What happened there? If the power goes out, we truly have no way to buy food. Shops will not accept payment. What's happening to the bees in Bulgaria? Live cattle futures up and up. Your food price up. Wheat up. Soy up. Corn up. Ag commodities in general up. So here's some innovative ways to capture and store water, except in states where it's illegal to harvest your rainwater. Media won't talk about it. Tumbleweeds. And starting off with a morning drive in Abu Dhabi, it seems that the wet season is a torrential flooding season across the Middle East. We see it again and again. Amazing photos coming out just now with deserts turning to forest. Who would have thought, except those in the end times. Jets, blue jets, oh, captured, once thought mythical. Did we not see the sprites with the same Earth's energy field? Increasing, we can feel the amplification in the air. And the global media really doesn't talk about the causes of our food shortages, what's happening and how it's going to intensify. Tumbleweeds, as they say. At least the trucks plowing through it. Now on to Cuba, which was the poster child for all things socialist, now making requests for food aid from the World Food Program. For the first time, an unprecedented move. Cuban government sent an official communication to the World Food Program asking for milk as their economic situation continues to deteriorate. And that's what would be expected in the utopia, as sold to the world as an ideology which has failed every single time. But they're trying to sell it globally to the planet once again. Global speculators betting on the decline of agricultural product prices. So then we're caught in the middle between splitting the gray hair here. Are the prices really declining, or is the amount of available food declining, which is going to drive prices up? Because the entire video, all I see is things going up and up and up here. But speculators are going to take out positions to first drive the food down a sliver, and then it is going to skyrocket to the moon. They're looking at prolonged military action significantly impacting agricultural markets. Wheat and the farms by total area have decreased 5%. That's in the United States as well as other nations. When we look at the agricultural commodity as a whole, all we see is upward momentum, which in layman's terms mean your food's going to get more expensive as we move through the rest of the year. And generally, you look at these base commodities first, things that make other products. Wheat, for example, if you're going to do breads, but there's so many different types of wheat, from the spring wheat to the hard red winter wheat to the soft white. So this is a total of wheat itself, durum, but everywhere you look, it's up and up. Any type of wheat. Soybean as well, and that would include soybean oil, made in so many products that you pick off your supermarket shelf if you don't read the box carefully. And corn prices. That would be everything from high fructose corn syrup right down to corn meal. My belly's just itching for the GM price. That reflects right over into animal feed. So look for your hog, chicken, and cattle prices to rise based on those commodities rising. The Fed took the punch bowl away from the party again. The stock market's been betting on March rate cuts, but not so fast. Is this why JP Morgan and UBS are calling for a 23% drop in the S&P? The recession indicator's ringing its most severe alarm in 40 years. Call the proud Americans, the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention the Adapt 2030 channel. You're going to get some great in-class service. Also, Patriot Gold Group has a no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver. No fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. And, we keep hearing again and again, if there's a power outage, we can use silver, or we can use cash to pay for groceries. Not anymore. Especially in the UK. Oh, crumbs. Isn't that so cute the way they put that? Their shops close after IT glitch. Leave stores unavailable to accept payments. And they won't accept cash either. And they won't let you take things off the shelf because that would mess up their computer ordering system. We currently have an issue with our tills, which means cash registers in UK, which means we cannot take cash or card payments right now. Well, wait a minute. How can you not take cash and put it in an envelope next to? See what I mean? This is just an excuse. They don't want to mess up their ordering system. They're working hard to get the issue solved. Sorry for the inconvenience. You can't eat today. But hey, who cares? You don't eat today. It's an inconvenience. Now, I have a personal story also going to Trader Joe's. This was during a power outage, and they wouldn't even open the doors to let anybody in. It's like, here, I got cash. They're like, no, we can't sell it because that'll completely wreck our ordering. You take things off that aren't scanned in, it doesn't do the computer order, and then that'll completely block the system, and something with their accounting would lock the system up, and that whole computer ordering just in time, use barcode slide one and then another case comes to replace it, that would be messed up. That would be completely out of kilter. And they closed that store. Trader Joe's closed, would not let you pay cash, wouldn't even let you in the store, shutters down. And this is the very same thing that just occurred in the UK. So if you have it in your mind that, even if all the power goes out, I can flick a couple ounces of silver, I can throw some cash over that way and get my goods. If it's just a 1 or 2 day glitch where the power goes out, they're absolutely not going to sell you anything, especially if it's a national brand or a multinational that's involved in supply chain across borders. They're not going to. And at that point, then what? Let's say it's day 3 or 4, and they're still like, no, our ordering system will, the accountants and this and every excuse they could possibly give to you. Is it our right to then go into the store and secure food for our families? As long as you throw money on the till. This thing cost me the product I want is $4.30. Here's $5. Keep the change. Is that legal that we should be able to do that and still force our way into the stores in an emergency? Still pay for it? Just a question for the mind. Because things are going to become atrociously expensive, especially here. Never seen anything like this before in 70 years of cattle trading. Super high demand, super low inventory. You can follow the pennant forming there in the direction of the breakout, which would be more expensive for you and me. And if we look over in Mongolia, also harshest winter since 1975. They had quite a few losses there. Stake on the hoof on the ground. Now, if they were able to get in and process that after it froze, then perhaps could save some. We got 2.1 million out of the herds there gone in Mongolia. How much in the United States? Unknown, but we will find out in the next month or so as Texas comes to grips with its cattle industry damage from the wildfires in the north there. And then we need to add into this 140,000 farms closed in the U.S. in the last 5 years. That's where that 5% came from in the earlier slide. So 140,000 farms. That is an enormous amount. And it depends on the reduction. Was it small family farms, or was it what you consider more agribusiness farms? And since they're using hectares as a measurement, you need to multiply by 2.4 to get the acreage out of that. So it's a little bit under 20 million acres that's gone offline. How much food is that? Then if we look at the very last sentence, the cultivated land totally has decreased by 130 million acres since 1950. So a lot of areas have been taken offline. So when they talk the debate like, oh, we're destroying the planet, too much agriculture, wait a second, show them this slide. We've reduced land usage in ag by that much, 130 million acres since 1950, because people don't want to farm any longer. And those farms were turned into neighborhoods that have the runoff from the asphalt. That is the switch in use of land. Over to Bulgaria, the bees, no humanity. And they're wondering why the hives, different sets of hives all around the country, just poof, instantly died off. Was it the neonicotinoids being sprayed around, or was it some other cause? They don't know, but billions and billions of bees have just gone out of the ecosystem not to pollinate this year's crops inbound. So another idea for us here, looking different ways to capture water. I encourage you to use this slide and try to invent your own system as well. Put it somewhere useful so you don't have to traipse across your yard or field to make use of the water. Could be for animals, could be for your gardens. But every dime we save now is going to be needed to purchase higher priced foods. And you can see the trajectory of where it's going. Not only is the inflation just ripping away purchasing power, but now we have all of these forecasts for the rest of the year crop losses, which match directly with this grand solar minimum in the center of the center, the beginning of the complete disruption of society based on food production not being there at the levels it was to feed the planet 5 years ago. This is a cycle that is now visible. And why do you think there is so much distraction out there? You know, for those of us talking about this disruption of civilization based on 400-year cycles in the sun, or even a more intense once in a 2,000-year disruption in solar activity that then in turn affects food production on the planet as it has time immemorial. Now we're at the point where it's visible. The amount of food not being produced, the carryover stocks, which is the next video, are lower than anticipated. Well, who would have guessed that? Anybody with a forecast going out to talk about less food production globally would have forecast less carryover stocks. Now we have the wars conveniently excused away to decrease global food production further. And these excuses are going to keep rolling off the tongues of those that devour the news cycle. This is here now. They can't hide it any longer. That whole COVID thing where, catering services were closed, schools were closed, universities were closed, convention centers were closed, all that, and everybody was stuck at home. Yeah, you might have saved that 15% of food wastage in developed nations put back onto the plates of those at home, but we've run that course. Now you're seeing skyrocketing food prices, inflation taking away everything you buy, people pinched, and they're in a corner. Maybe it'll finally take this pain point before people wake up and actually make action, take action. But all those things I was talking about to try to show a wider picture of the economy and history related with these crop losses and this grand solar minimum. So I wish you the best of luck in your preparations. Do try to connect the economy, history, and also these effects we're seeing on our global food production due to the sun and a 400-year cycle changing. I think it's a little more intense one on a 2,000-year cycle, but hey, we'll see when we come up in October how the planets behave in their square. It's a wider picture than just focusing specifically on changes in our natural world. It's far wider than that. If you're focused only on the natural world, you're never going to see the wider picture. You have to encompass other disciplines, for a better term. I heard Graham Hancock talking about it. He says we need to synthesize a wide range of disciplines. Well, that's the same thing. If you're just focused on one thing, grand solar minimum, you're not going to see the wider picture. So maybe the channel makes more sense now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.